Hi, I'm Deb Dedrick, certified high performance coach and your expert guide to leading a happy life, here with episode 127, something I think we all need help with, and that is how to have productive conversations. And if you're anything like me, you might have a real need to improve your skill set here and take it to the next level. And today's video is going to be about ways that you can implement this foundational training I'm going to give you into your day-to-day life and improve the quality of your relationships by what you say and how you act. And it's based on the book Conversational Intelligence by Judith Glaser. So thank you so much for joining me. And let's get right into the video. So tip number one, and this is going to be for out the whole video, is you take the lead and you be open. So if you're talking to this person or a group of people, you take the lead as the leader. And you're going to be open and you're going to talk openly about your fears and maybe where you're feeling threatened and maybe where you're feeling distrust, by being open and having the courage to step into those moments where you're feeling that way and quell the fear. That fear is just built in us as human beings to, want to take shelter or run from a situation if we start feeling fear. So if you start to begin to feel these things, you need to acknowledge that is the way you're feeling and take control of that in your mind and quell it and refocus and remember you're here in this situation to have a productive conversation, and you're setting the lead. You are being the leader, and you're working on brain trust and creating awareness of when your brain starts to become emotional. And when you become emotional and you become charged and the cortisol gets released into your blood system, that's when you get out of control, and that's when you usually say or do things that do not serve to have a productive conversation. So that's number one. And number two, taking the lead. Again, you're the leader. This is where you're going to begin to work with your heart brain to make connection with others and to extend that feeling out to them so they can see you and they can feel you and you can see them and feel them. If you can develop the skill set, it's just amazing how much connection you build with other people, because people are not doing this. So you're connecting with your heart brain, you're extending out there to people, and your point is to connect, and your desired outcome is to engage and create a bridge by going heart to heart. And number three, this is taking the lead again and talking openly about your needs and your aspirations, and then having the ability to quietly listen to the others' needs and aspirations, because nobody thinks the same. Nobody has the same desires or the same outcomes. Nobody thinks the same. And oftentimes what people hear is not what you said. So talking openly and listening and not interrupting about your needs and aspirations, their needs and aspirations, and beginning to engage the limbic brain, which is your emotional brain, and engage this and begin to really communicate. Number four, again, you take the lead and you're going to have conversations that are built on creating a bridge for mutual success. And the only way you're going to create a bridge is to have these conversations where you're opening the conversation for discovery. And that you have to become aware that you're not going to see eye to eye with the people often that you're talking to, and that's going to engage the neocortex. It's going to flash your emotions that might derail the conversation. So staying focused on quelling your fears, quelling that desire to interrupt, quelling that desire to prove you're right, quelling those desires to defend yourself if you're feeling attacked, stepping out of those feelings and remembering that this is a conversation where we are building a bridge. And maybe the bridge has been broken. Maybe there's a history there that you're trying to fix. So the way that you do that is having conversations without having the fear of recrimination, without having the fear of rejection or arguments. And that is the skill set that you learn as you work through this foundation. And number five, of course, you're taking the lead, and then you're practicing this foundation that we just went over, and you test it, and as you create the trust and the bridge, these conversations will get easier because the people that you're talking to know that it's okay, that they can talk to you and they're not going to be tore apart. They're not going to be there's not going to be recriminations, and they'll begin to trust you and you will trust them. And as you form a stronger team, then you can move your team forward because you learn the skill set I'm talking about here of having productive conversations. And so let's go back over it just one more time. Number one, you take the lead and you're being open. And if you are starting to feel fear, if you're trying to avoid these conversations, if you're feeling anxious, that's probably a good sign to know that you need to have that conversation. So quell the fear, step into the situation courageously and confidently. Keep a note sheet here to keep you focused. Remember what your outcome is. Remember that you are setting the lead, and people will mirror how you're feeling. So if you're confident, if you're open, they're gonna feel confident, and they're gonna be more likely to be open to you. Number two, taking the lead, and you're going to become engaging the heart brain. You're engaging that one-to-one where you're looking them in the eye and you're listening without interrupting, and you're being polite, and you're not judging or trying to craft your conversation to match what theirs is. You're strictly listening, and you're connecting and engaging. And that is where we're connecting our heart brain. Number three, remember, we are refocusing, and we are taking the lead, and we're talking openly about our needs and aspirations, and about they are talking about their needs and aspirations. In order to create an effective team, if everybody feels heard and they feel like their needs are going to be met and they're not going to be judged, they're going to be a lot more open as they begin to talk about their needs and their aspirations. And remember, you're engaging the limbic brain, which is the emotional part of your brain. And number four, you're taking the lead, you're setting the example, you're focusing the conversations based on mutual success. These conversations are for discovery, and they are to learn what the perception is that's going to create mutual success. And that is engaging the neocortex back here. So you might find in these discovery sessions, people will get triggered and they'll become emotional, and you have to remember to quell that and keep focused. Remember, you're building new relationship abilities and practices and conversation skills, and this is going to be a practice that you learn. You're not going to know it overnight. And number five, you're taking the lead, and you're testing, and you're practicing this foundation that you're learning how to employ. And I suggest writing these tips down. I suggest committing them to memory. I suggest practicing them, because honestly, if you become aware of when you're getting triggered emotionally and you're feeling fearful, and recognizing that as a sign that, yeah, this is a situation I really need to take care of and step into, and you confidently do it without becoming triggered emotionally, and then you're able to connect with your heart and talk to these people in a way where they feel heard. See, then you're beginning to build the bridge, and then you're able to talk about what you both are wanting to get accomplished and what's important to them and what's important to you. And then you're learning that skill to not become triggered emotionally back here and do things that just totally destroy relationships. And as you build this foundation, you're able to create mutual desired outcomes, and you're also able to go to the next level in your relationship. And this is something that you can use in every conversation that you have to improve the quality of your life. So thank you so much for joining me today on tip number 127, how to have productive conversations. I really wish I had been taught this when I was young. I wish I had been taught to understand the connection between my real brain and my heart brain, and that those things that I feel in my gut, those things are all connected together, and they're usually right. And I wish I had been taught that I could have the confidence to develop the skills needed to have a productive and strategic conversation to get the desired outcome that I wanted. So thank you so much for joining me. It's my mission as your expert guide to leading a happy life to give you practical tips and frameworks that you can use in your life to create a happier life, build stronger relationships, and leave a legacy for your family. Thank you. If this tip helped you in any way, please share it with a friend. Please visit my YouTube channel to see the other how-to videos. And I will see you on my next tip. Thank you, and God bless.